Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP Diamond Dallas Page. And you, monkey, you're listening to the Potsy and Tino show. And that's not a bad thing, monkey. That's a good thing. Bang!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg, Tino Gray, the badass Rob Potsy Potcheck, the Potsy and Tino show. We already have comments. I bet it's Michael Turner. No, it's Joe Lowe. What is up, Joe Lowe? Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents.
99
Jones.
I was excited saying 99. I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They're like 99.
Yeah, that's funny. Tino, we always start the show off with a little segment we call "What's Up with You." So, my friend, what is up with you?
Not much. When let's see, this past weekend went to Hickory Friday and Saturday night, and it was weird because I called Tuesday because I always call a few days ahead of time to get my hotel situated and stuff like that. I called on Tuesday and they're like, "Oh, you got the last room." I'm like, son of a bitch. So apparently what's happened is because of the hurricane, everybody's coming down and they got, people have been displaced, people who are going up there to help with relief efforts and all that. Every room, every hotel in Hickory was booked. I said, son of a bitch, thank God I called.
Yeah.
But I mean, worst thing to worst, I have people I can stay with, but I like to have my own place, my space, and shower and come and go as I please.
Oh, absolutely.
But so I just went ahead while I was there. When I was checking in, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be back here. I'm there once a month, so I'll be back in a few weeks anyway. Let's just go ahead and knock out that reservation, so I ain't got to worry about it. So we went ahead, did that. Had a blast both nights. Apparently, they had the Hickory. It was this past weekend. Had their Oktoberfest. So
nice.
Yeah, so we had people come in after the Oktoberfest and just hang out with us. It was fun. We had a good time. Came back yesterday. I took Friday and today off because I had time.
You just got all that time.
I'm trying to get all this time burned up before it because I got to use it or lose it. And then so Nicole was off the day where I was school today because it was teacher work day, and she got to kind of work from home too. And so I got to, we just relax and chill. They're finally finishing up the backyard. They're putting up the fence now. It's starting to come together. It's looking good. So I'm excited about it.
Good.
And I think that's it. Go back to work tomorrow. Just back to the grind till I put in for another Friday and Monday off again to try to burn this time.
I hear that. I'm taking Friday off this week because I'm headed to Fayetteville for Fayetteville Comic-Con. This past weekend, I was in Wendell, North Carolina for Epic Mighty Con.
How did that go?
Much better than anticipated. Okay, so they call it Epic Mighty Con, right? And it's the Wendell Community Center.
Okay.
So it's like their gymnasium, right? So I mean, it's about the size of just over one basketball court.
Okay.
So they shoved some people in there to get it working. But when I pulled up, so it was like a 45-minute drive to get there, and I pulled up to it, and there was no parking, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be really good. It was because since it's the community center, they've also got soccer fields, and they've got and it was packed and all those things, but it was. I mean, I got there before the thing opened, so it wasn't like the convention, had people at it yet or whatever. But I mean, it did okay. It was the first time I did the show. It was only the second time they've done it. And I was sitting next to an artist that had worked on some pretty major projects like Green Lantern and stuff like that in the past. So I'm sitting next to the biggest name that they've got, the two biggest names that they've got, and they're sitting there saying the owners of the convention are saying all this nice stuff about me online, and I'm just like, yeah, I had a good time, thanks, thanks for inviting me, I gladly come back to do another one. I'll gladly come to your, they've got a shop in Zebulon. I'm like, I'll come out to your shop and do a signing if you want, like just make sure we advertise it and make sure whatever. But like selling $5 and $6 books, I probably made $200. So I mean, that's that's 35 books. So I mean, that's a pretty good day.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. They gave me a little voucher to get food and everything. So I mean, like, I didn't have to buy my own food, like, because normally, like, you go to the conventions and it's like, yeah, we'll give you your table or whatever, and then oh, it's food trucks. Oh, so it's like $18 a meal or whatever. And so like I said, they gave me a voucher and everything for that. They had they had one of the food trucks that does like all the really bad stuff for you. So it was like fried Oreos and so of course, I'm like, oh, fried Snickers bar, gotta get one, so get a fried Snickers bar, and oh man, it was delicious.
But have done that. Oh,
no, it was fine. Like I eat garbage food anyway, so I mean, actually, I've been eating better recently, but and what you were probably smelling was the pizza that I had delivered like 10 minutes before you got here, because it took an hour and a half to get pizza from 4 miles down the road. No, it was Grubhub.
I'm saying with the pizza place busy.
I have no idea, but like it says 60 minutes. You're like, okay, it'll be 60 minutes, right? No, 75 minutes. And I finally walked outside and it's just sitting there. Nobody rings the doorbell. Like, what the fuck is up with that? I wonder
how long it was sitting there.
No telling. But like, knock on the door, ring the doorbell. I have both options there. And it even
doesn't tell you when it's delivered.
So normally it does.
I was about to say DoorDash does.
This one right now, I think still says arriving soon. So I complained after like 75 minutes. I was like, guys, like, where's my food, right? And Grubhub's like, oh, well, we talked to the vendor and they said that they delivered it. Did they follow the instructions that I hand wrote into the thing that say ring the doorbell? No. Like, literally, by the way, I have 2 doorbells. Hit both of them. Worst case scenario, I walk out. So anyway, yeah. Finally went to the comic shop this week after not being at the comic shop in what feels like months.
Joe,
yeah, Joe, what kind of?
He's laughing at what you're saying. I'm eating better now. You probably smelled the pizza, Potsy. He's quoting you.
Yeah. Well, I ordered pizza tonight because, like, I was like, okay, I've been up until like the convention, I've been eating, like vegetables and all the nasty stuff, like all the good stuff for you, all the good stuff for you. And I mean, I like my vegetables, like the ones that I'll eat. I eat all the time, so I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I never eat vegetables. But like, I figured, okay, we're getting ready to do the show. I don't feel like going down to Food Line to go get some ingredients because 5 o'clock at night, like, I won't get back till 6:30, like, and I might only get a bag of groceries. It'd be $60. So I'm just going to order a pizza. So I ordered a pizza. But recently it's been, okay, let's make a vegetable. Let's make a protein. Let's make a starch. And there you go. There's your meal. Right. So, best quote of the day. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. So Joe, I don't even remember what kind of surgery you were getting ready to have. So if you want to drop that in the comments, we're glad to see that you're feeling better and doing better. Anyways, yeah, not much else going on with me. The job, because you were talking about aiding due to the hurricane stuff. The job actually is trying to get volunteers.
Good job, Joe.
That's awesome. I'm down about 7 pounds. So even that, like at this point, I really just started that like last week. So, did I tell you that my doctor said that if and when I get insurance again, that I would be the perfect candidate for the Wegovy. So the same thing as Ozempic, but that one's actually for I think he said that Ozempic is actually for
diabetes,
but
that's what I take.
Wegovy is for weight loss.
My-
But it also, but
So-
they're basically the same exact drug.
So
Is what he said.
So I was borderline diabetic, and so they've taken me off my diabetes medicine because I'm not anymore. But when I started taking the Ozempic, she was like, I took it. She said, you might lose a bit of weight. I'm like, all right, cool. So I stopped taking the Ozempic when my blood sugar went down. And then they were like, oh, we want to put you on the Wegovy. Well, the insurance
Won't cover
it.
Yeah.
So she goes, I got something for you. So she put the Wegovy for my diabetes. And I've lost weight because of appetite suppressant. So I've lost like 15, 20 pounds on it already.
But
it's still going.
Yeah, my doctor was saying that it's the exact same drug. It's just one's prescribed for one, one's prescribed for the other, but it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's that semaglutide or whatever it's called, semaglutide.
Something like that. I was looking at it this morning because I take it on Mondays. I take it once a week.
Oh, gotcha. Just
you don't even feel it. Well, you got a fat right here, so you just
right. I did hear that they're getting ready to launch a pill version. So I wonder how many people now. It might be a daily pill because it's a pill rather than.
I'll stick with it. Take it once a week. Take a shot once a week. I just remember taking it on Mondays. I'll take it in the beginning of the week.
Yeah, I hear you there. Other than that, I sent the final edits of Die Hard #1 to the letterer today. I went ahead and made all the corrections. So I did that. I was working on my cover for issue #3 today. I think I came up with something that looks pretty good. So I think I'm gonna roll with that. Completely tore his Achilles.
Good God.
So that thing like rolled up in the back of your calf, huh?
Till April of next year. God bless.
That's,
yeah, those Achilles, those are no fucking joke. I haven't ever had it, thank God, but I've known people who had, and that shit'll knock you down. You won't walk for like months.
Yeah. We've seen in pro wrestling where some of the people like will have that and they'll tough it out through the rest of that match, but then they're like they couldn't walk for like 3 weeks.
Well, there was for a while. I remember back years ago, somebody would like hide under people's cars, and I say,
and they'd slice them. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah. We grew up in weird times, man. Because I always remember that because it was like when you're leaving the mall, always look under your car. Had to stay off it for a couple. Jeez.
Yeah.
And you still can't do any lifting for like another 3 or 4 months, or 6 months.
April.
Yeah, 6 months. Probably. Shit.
My father-in-law's gearing because he's got to have his surgery on his shoulder Tuesday, and then he's going to be out of work for 6 weeks. Yeah, and so I'm like, so I can imagine a fucking Achilles. God bless you.
Yeah.
I don't want any parts of that.
No. I do have some. I guess it's big news. When it comes to comic books, obviously, earlier this year we had Zor come out, and last week I talked a little bit about like what our plan is for Zor for next year, right?
Yeah, you're gonna wait and you're gonna make it into a book so people remember it, so you can
try to get it up for an award. But that's not the only Zor news.
Oh shit.
So I posted to my Instagram story last week just a little blurb, and it just said, and it was like typed in. I took a picture of it off the computer, and it just said Zor Tooth Fairy. And that's all it said. So you want me to break the news?
Okay, Zor and Tooth Fairy.
So, Keen Spot applied to actually have books come out for Free Comic Book Day next year on the first weekend of May.
Right.
Okay, which basically means like comic shops get to give it out for free. So we got approved for 2 books to come out for Free Comic Book Day next year. One of them is going to be a flip book of Mark Spears' Monsters and probably Ethan Page's
I
book.
was about to say Monsters had to be one of them.
Yes. Mark Spears, which Mark Spears actually also had right before New York Comic-Con this weekend. He just had it announced by Todd McFarlane that he's working on a book called Spawn 77.
Nice.
So he's doing the art for Spawn 77 on top of already doing Mark Spears' Monsters. So he's, I mean, and remember how I said that his book was #1 the last like 3 weeks in a row? Well, it fell, but two different covers are now on the top 10, and it's like #5 and #9.
Wow.
And it's not the same cover that it was. Now it's the other covers are actually jumping onto the list. But the other book is going to be a all ages anthology, like kind of giving an idea of all the different kids books that we've got, right? Mm-hmm. So I basically said, hey, if I could talk Michael into it, Michael's the co-creator of Zor. I was like, can we do a Zor story? And he was like, yeah, I don't see why not. So he was like, and then he was like, because I was like, oh, I'll do a story about Sarge, or I'll do Tino the plumber, and he goes, it's probably smarter to actually do a Zor story if you're gonna do a story of from the creators of Zor. So I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So I came up with this idea about how Zoe, and it's only 4 pages, but it will probably still do 30,000 units because it's going to be given out on Free Comic Book Day. So comic shops are just going to order in abundance on this stuff. So it's a 4-page story where Zoe loses a tooth, and then, she loses a tooth and then she loses the tooth, right?
Right.
So it falls behind her dresser, and when she's sitting there crying, like on her bed, Zor pops out, goes on an adventure, and he's like Indiana Jones for 4 pages.
Nice.
And the villains are a group of ants.
Oh, you can say dust mites.
No, a group of ants called the Ants. AUNTS. There's gonna be like all these old ladies with glasses, and so of course I'm sitting there going, they should be the Golden Girls.
Oh my god. Aunt Sophia with the big ass glasses and the purse and the sweater. Like,
So I was like, oh, that's too funny to make them the ants. So they're gonna be the ants on that now. So there actually was some news, and then I am planning on trying to jump into, and I already wrote the entire thing for that, by the way.
Damn.
I mean, it was 4 pages, so it wasn't that hard. But like, I was sitting there, I was just chatting with Michael, and then I was like, all right, I sent it over to you, and he goes, Rob, I can't even work on it this month. No problem. It's due in January. Just get it done. Like whatever. Because I know I don't have to worry about him getting it done. Zor doesn't talk, so I don't have to write a lot of dialogue in there.
Right.
So I'm almost done. But I am planning 2025 to have obviously at least the 2nd issue of Immortal come out, and then I'm gonna figure out what we're doing with Stonkard. About the pro wrestler,
right?
And I'm gonna figure out what to do about my horror story.
Okay.
So I am moving forward with all of those for 2025, and I guess I kind of committed to San Diego already because a buddy of mine said if I can get him into the show, he'll pay for the hotel room. So I was like, I guess I'm going to San Diego. Because I'll pay the $600 or whatever to fly there, but I don't know if I want to spend the $2,000 on the hotel. So he was like, yeah, that doesn't sound bad for 5 days. I'm like, cool, that's on you. I'll get you into the show.
So you gotta pay for his plane ticket or your plane ticket?
I just pay for my plane ticket. He's paying for his entire way there and the hotel room for us to stay in.
So how are you gonna get him to the show?
I get passes into the show.
Oh.
So that's really what's been going on with me. Let's go ahead and take that down. Don't really have anything else that's going on. I do want to talk about something before we jump into wrestling tonight.
Uh-oh. Man, fuck that show.
All right, you gotta tell the story.
Fuck that show. Turn my back on the camera.
You gotta tell this story because
I don't remember. I was furious, and Rob's laughing, and I was like, "Were we texting first?" And I just got mad and called you, or you called me and I called you back.
Well, I called you. You didn't answer, so you called me back and you said, "Did you mean to call me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I got to explain this to you." Go ahead.
What? Okay. First of all, you've had a week, bitches. So there's going to be some spoilers. And I know I always get on him about spoilers, but there's going to be spoilers. You've had a week.
Yeah.
I'm watching the show, right? So it starts out.
And it's a 2-hour season premiere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I get pissed off the first one, I called you. And then I'm watching the second one, and I said, if it don't get any better, fuck this show. I'm not watching it no more. I was so fucking mad. I forgot that the end of last season he was fighting
Doomsday.
I'm like, all right. And then they come, the fight's over, and he fucking died, and Doomsday pulls his heart out. So I'm like, all right, Superman, get up. Superman, get up. And next thing I know, they're having a fucking funeral, and they had the box, and he's gone. And I'm like, how the fuck you gonna name a show Superman and Lois? That's what I tell Rob. Hey, you killed fucking Superman.
In the first episode.
The first fucking 5 minutes. And I'm watching the show. I'm telling Rob, and I'm texting him, and Rob said, I'm like, all right, at the end of this episode, he's gonna come back. Motherfucker didn't come back. This motherfucker is a hologram in the motherfucking. I'm like,
and his flashbacks.
And his flashbacks, and fucking Jonathan Jordan's a bitch. He ain't ready to be Superman yet. I said all this to you, did I not?
Yes, you did.
Jordan's a bitch. Sorry, I'm.
Oh no, go ahead.
Jordan's a bitch. He's not Superman yet. This motherfucker flew and tried to intimidate Lex Luthor, and Lex knew who the fuck he was, and he's still wearing his fucking goggles and a mask.
When the bad guy sat there and said, "Look at this Snoopy guy." Looking like Snoopy on the Red Baron.
He didn't even scare Lex Luthor. I forgot about that part. Lex back to Jordan is fucking floating. Lex is walking towards him, and Jordan's floating backwards. What? Bitch, you are not ready to take over the thing. They might as well let the other one take over. So I was pissed, and I told Rob that's the end of the that second one. I said, I'm not watching this shit. And Rob tried to explain it to me like, I don't give a fuck. It is called Superman and Lois. Yeah, it's not called Bitch Boy and Lois.
Tino really, really struggled with the with that, and I was and that's why I called you, because we were texting, and then I called you, and then you called me back, and I'm like, Tino, in the comic book, Superman died, and then he comes back, and it's okay. He's because Tino's sitting there going. So he's not going to be in the rest of the season. He's sitting there asking me if he's not going to be in the rest of the show.
No, I started out, I texted him and go, I'm not digging this season of Superman and Lois. And then he said, yeah. And I think I finally figured out that he wasn't coming back. And I literally texted, fuck this show.
It was so fun. I'm sitting there
laughing.
I'm laughing about it. And I'm like, he obviously is coming back. The spoilers are 30 years old. They actually are, because it was 1992 when they actually did the Death of Superman. It was so funny. It was.
And I'm trying not to laugh because I realized how dumb this conversation was. But I was for shoot. I was pissed.
He was like, I'm so glad my wife isn't home right now, because she would have heard me yelling and screaming at the TV.
I'm literally yelling at the screen, Jordan, you a bitch. I was like,
This shit was so funny to hear.
I'm yelling at the TV, Jordan, you're a bitch.
And he's like, I know he's a hologram, but I need to see Superman in this damn show. Because I'm sitting there going, he'll be in the show. He'll be, and Tino's
Here's
like,
the thing, it's a TV show. It's fiction. He's trying to calm me down. I'm like, no, fuck this show.
so fucking funny. I laughed so hard.
So this is the daily conversations that we have. So you think it's not just for this show? No, this is what we do on a regular daily basis.
It was so fucking funny. Well, and then we started talking about Found.
That show's the fuck. Oh, I love that show. And fucking
and The Irrational.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You watched Found this past week?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Found is it's interestingly enough, it's by the same people that do Superman and Lois.
Mm-hmm.
It's by the Berlanti group. So it's like their first soiree on. No, I don't think so. But it's their first soiree onto like NBC, you know. So they took everything that they learned how to do with the Arrowverse and started doing this.
Well, because the dude that plays in Irrational played on The Flash. He played what's the name?
Yeah.
So I thought that's why I was thinking it was the same people.
It would make sense. I hadn't paid attention to see who the executive producers are in it. Like sometimes it just pops out and you're like, oh, Greg Berlanti and Sarah Schechter and all these other people, you know. But I'm like with Found, it's basically a woman who was captured and imprisoned by Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell for like a year, and like now she's an adult who basically helps other kidnapping victims. So I thought it and Tracker were going to be very similar, and they're not.
Tracker's back too. I got to thought about it. Watch.
Yeah, that. I watched the first episode of that today. Why is it that the guy from Tracker sounds like John Krasinski from The Office and Jack Ryan?
I don't know.
Like if you close your eyes and put the two of them next to each other and have them talk, you would not be able to figure out which one's which. Because I obviously don't get to watch a lot of the shows. I have them on, but I'm like doing work, so I'll hear the show and I'll be like, when did Jim from The Office get in this? And it's not Jim from The Office; it's Justin Hartley. But Found, the first season was all about how Gabby, the main character, had kept
calls him
Sir,
who's Zach Morris.
Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, kept him in her basement, chained up and locked in there. And in the last episode of the first season, he gets away. And the first, like I told you, the first episode was like,
oh shit.
It was just off the wall nuts for like something you see on like NBC.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is like HBO level shit, you know? And now he's captured one of, Tulsa King is so good. I just watched the latest episode today, and this year with Neil McDonough and Frank Grillo in it. I mean, like it just went like, okay, here we are, and it's like, nope, we're here now. You know, like I just wish they'd drop all of that at once. Have you watched Agatha All Along yet?
I haven't watched the latest episode. I've been watching it.
So there's spoilers out there.
Fucking Aubrey Plaza is fucking hot.
She's always hot.
Oh my god.
I've
loved her since fucking
I literally saw a TikTok with her the other day. I almost sent it to you. It was her basically like on Conan O'Brien or something and being like, yeah, my latest boyfriend, you know, like he didn't ask for it or anything, but I gave him helicopter lessons, and it was Fallon, and Fallon's like, why would you give it? And she's like, well, when the zombie apocalypse happens, I need someone to be able to fly the helicopter.
She just makes me laugh because she says shit so deadpan, and you're like, is she serious?
And he goes, why not just get yourself the helicopter lessons? And she goes, well, because I'm in charge of the weaponry. And I'm like,
she's so awesome.
I'm like, I could marry this girl tomorrow.
She's so
like,
awesome.
I could marry her tomorrow. Yeah. But
don't spoil it yet. I hadn't seen it.
What?
You said spoilers out there. Agatha All Along.
Oh, yeah, because they dropped the trailer for the rest of the season. but it only shows what happened previously.
Mm-hmm.
But there is, like, right at the very beginning, there's a line that gets dropped in that trailer that has you go, oh, in case you didn't already know.
Oh.
Like, it's a big spoiler.
Okay.
Like every time they talk about, they call him Teen in it, the kid.
I think that's Agatha's kid. I think it's either Agatha's kid or she had him because they're at, well, never mind.
I won't spoil it for you. And it's like right here, so I'm like almost ready to do it.
I'll watch it, but that's what I'm thinking.
So I'll put it this way: I thought it was Agatha's kid as well.
Okay.
So
I thought you were gonna say they're gonna bring back Wanda. So I was like, I think that'd be cool to at least bring her back in the flashback or bring her back some way.
Well, I mean, she's still alive.
When I heard it, she found it at the beginning. Remember, in the first episode, she was like, she found the dead body, and then they had her toe tap, or not toe, but the library thing, and it said W, whatever her last name was, and it had the red hair hanging out the body bag.
Well, remember though, like with the multiverse, like, is it our Wanda or was it a different Wanda that she left in Springview just so that she could get away?
Got it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
kind of like Dead Superman. It's not. See, bringing it all the way back around full circle.
Fuck that shit.
Now, can we just say that Michael Cudlitz is a fucking incredible Lex Luthor?
And I told you though, he's cool,
but he's Abraham to you.
He's Abraham to me. If you guys watch The Walking Dead, he's Abraham to do the redhead with the beard and the hair. Which I said to you, I said he has Lex down until they did the flashback where the bitch had the fro.
the flashback.
The flashback with the fro.
With the flow.
With the flow.
Jones. With the fro Jones.
Abraham Jones.
I just said fro Jones. By the way, I'm on my first alcoholic beverage tonight, so it's because this shit's funny.
Yeah, you got me riled up again with the fucking. As soon as you put Superman and Lois, he did that shit on purpose.
I did.
Knew I was going to go off.
I did. Well, I wanted you to go off on it. I thought it was hilarious.
Bullshit. And Jordan is a bitch, but okay, he's got to prove me wrong. Maybe he'll man up, but right now,
he's going to need a luchador mask or something because he can't look like Snoopy no more.
That shit was hilarious.
I love when he sat there and he said, look at this guy that looks like Snoopy, and then he just punched him into a wall. Oh boy. All right. What area of pro wrestling do you want to talk about first? Do you want to pull up the Wrestledream results?
Yeah, I had to know that.
By the way, folks, we completely forgot about Wrestledream. I know what the end result was of the final match. I know who the big return was during the night, and Tino's going to pull up the results. But last week we completely forgot to give predictions on it, and partly because I don't think they actually announced the whole card.
I think we need to. Also, that's what we need to do. We need to go back because we.
Oh yeah,
we said some shit last week. They were like, then we watched Raw. We're like, well, there was that.
Yeah, let's put that under what's up with you. So last week we want to do a couple retractions here of the statements that we made. The first one being Braun Breaker becoming a babyface,
and then he came out and just
speared everybody. Like okay, we're sitting there thinking, okay, we got Braun Breaker becoming a babyface now, and what do we get? While we're on the air last week saying it's so cool to see Braun Breaker becoming a babyface, while we're on the air,
he attacks
Braun Breaker beat the fuck out of everybody.
He beat the fuck out of New Day. He beat Jey Uso. Oh my god!
Yeah,
he ran around to that spear on damn Xavier.
Yeah,
outside the ring.
I thought Xavier was going to be out injured again. I'm not even going to lie.
He got back in the ring and cut Jey in half with that spear. I'm like.
Yeah.
So that was one.
That was the first one, and then when we started talking about Dynamite, I had said, "Where the hell is Daniel Garcia? Is he NXT bound?" And of course, it's like they opened the show on Dynamite with him walking up with his bag, and it's like, They're not going to let him sit there and say goodbye. Obviously, he signed a new deal. And if you hadn't heard, apparently WWE made an offer, and they all sat there and said, Tony Khan made a bigger offer. He's probably staying.
Tony Khan made a bigger offer? Wow.
Interestingly enough, did you see who left AEW last week? Behind the scenes.
No, I didn't know that.
Jimmy Jacobs left.
I didn't know that.
He
was back like a producer, right?
He was backstage producer. He was the only guy besides Tony Khan that was at every single show.
Really?
And he was basically overseeing a bunch of the Ring of Honor stuff, is what I was told. So
why did he leave?
Well, interestingly enough, not sure exactly why he left, but word came out this week that Jimmy Jacobs wasn't a big fan of Daniel Garcia. Didn't dislike him, just didn't see him as a top guy. So Tony Khan signing him for top guy money, I find it really weird that Daniel Garcia re-signs for big money and Jimmy Jacobs exits the company. It's kind of weird, but it kind of sounds like it might be a correlation of one equaling the other, going against the other. So those are I think those were the only two retractions we had to make from last week. We will try to do better. Right now, I don't think anybody's not under contract or whatever. The only one that's even questionable is Miro right now. Miro wanting to be released from his contract. Interestingly enough, in the 4 years since his WWE release, do you know how many matches he's worked?
10.
Close. 11.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, I was going to say just barely over 2 hands worth. Literally 11 matches in 4 years. And he's been getting paid the whole time.
Hey.
But think about that. 4 years since leaving the WWE, and he had 1 TNT title reign.
I wonder if he'll go back to WWE.
3 gimmick changes.
Oh, yeah.
I think where he'd probably end up is TNA. And I had said when he left the WWE, the best place for him would be New Japan, because New Japan loves those big foreigners. So that would have been the best move for him, and obviously he didn't do it because they gave him big money. He got the 1 title reign. Like I said, he had 3 gimmick changes, and 11 total matches. Yeah, think about that. So all right, let's. Did you pull it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not WWE PLE.
No, I put it up on AEW.
Oh.
I don't see one for Wrestledream.
Oh,
I can add one.
There's that Superman and Lois final season bullshit.
Spelled it wrong, I think. Yeah, I did.
What the fuck is it? What's up, Wrestledream?
The Wrestledream. There we go. Wrestledream.
So we had a 0 hour.
Is that even so can I give an opinion on what I've heard about the show before we even talk about it?
Excuse me. Yes.
So from what I'm reading, a lot of people were disappointed with the overall presentation of it because it just felt like another Dynamite. It just felt like a really long Dynamite because I mean, obviously it was a 5-hour pay-per-view, but it had storyline advancement without necessarily finishing the storyline or having matches in certain places. Like it seemed odd.
Oh,
so okay, 0 hour.
There was an ROH TV title was the first match. It was Brian Cage against Atlantis Jr. I don't know. Brian Cage is a new.
Who the fuck is Atlantis?
I don't know. He was the TV title
champion. Until Brian Cage beat him.
Yep.
Well, okay. So Brian Cage finally gets a win.
Cameron
Wolverine.
Harley Cameron against Anna Jay. Anna Jay got her.
Okay.
And that was
0 hour.
Well, I think there was one more. There's supposed to be one more. Oh yeah, there was a. So there's a tag team match with Eminem Collection and the Acclaim, right?
Eminem Collection.
Yeah. These two knuckleheads, they were They were in WWE.
Oh yeah, the Maximum Male Models. Yeah, okay.
Now they're called the Eminem Connection. Eminem Collection. They were at the thing we were.
and they were good at that show.
Yeah, guess who came out as their manager for them?
Stokely.
You look so.
Oh, Rico.
Good.
Rico, yeah.
And they were saying there was a cool spot where Rico and Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn gave him the famous, sir.
Oh God.
But yeah, it's pretty funny that it was Chuck Palumbo and Billy Gunn's old manager.
Yeah. So they claim one.
But they're heels now.
I don't know if they're heels because Eminem Collection's been.
Well, yeah, they were definitely heels.
Yeah.
So okay, maybe they big showed it. Okay.
And then there's a random 8-man match closed 0 hour with Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly teamed up with the Outrunners.
Well, remember Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy with Mark Briscoe. Yeah, they're kind of like a something or other now.
But they teamed up with the Outrunners, who have been on a run for some reason. That they're good.
They are okay. They're exactly what FTR wants to be, because they're like the '80s throwback. Let's even put that retro style TV program. And that's
over. It's getting over.
Absolutely. And in fact, when they've actually done like promo segments with FTR, it's probably the most over FTR's been recently. Unfortunately, because I mean FTR is probably still the best tag team in the world. So, and
they took on the Premier Athletes in the Dark Order. So Outrunners and the conglomeration win that match. All right. First match of the night. 2 former members of the Bullet Club.
Jay White
and Adam Page.
Jay White winning this match is actually pretty surprising to me, but I think it's because they're really trying to sit there and go, okay, it's time to make Jay White important.
Mm-hmm. So they need to, because he's good.
You know, I'd actually like to see him if they were going to really do something with him. I'd like to see him join that new Blackpool Combat Club. Like leave the other Bullet Club Gold, the Bang Bang Gang, leave them to the side. Finally, like break away from that and join them, because if you want him to be a bigger name, I think that's how you get him there. Because obviously, like right now, it's all about Jon Moxley again. So. Yeah,
you said you're not watching it anymore, but we'll get to that. The women's championship match: Mariah May and Willow Nightingale. Surprised. I am surprised.
What happened?
Willow lost.
Oh, I wasn't surprised by that.
I'm like, really?
Dude, Mariah May is the best thing going in the women's division in AEW. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not even close. Like Willow's probably number 3 because they're pushing Monet more than that. In fact, pushing Monet so far that I'm sure she had a match later on in the card.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
Jack Perry and Shibata for the TNT title.
Probably an excellent match, but obviously Jack Perry holds on to the title.
You were correct.
Yeah.
So,
and again, we did not watch this, so he's reading these off. I have not looked at this.
So Perry beat Shibata.
And now he gets Daniel Garcia.
Daniel Garcia came down for the save. While he was talking shit.
I did read about
Perry,
this.
MJF came out. His music hit, and he's talking, how I heard you about your war 2024. He did all this other shit and said he said, thank you for telling me that you pawned my ring, because I looked in every pawn shop in Buffalo.
Yeah.
But, and I found it, and he was getting ready to hit him. And as soon as he copped back, it's all about the boom. And so
I love how you got all excited and then you went boom instead of boom.
But it's funny because Adam Cole is kind of walking in the ring, and MJF's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna hop down here and get me." As soon as he did that, Adam Cole took the fuck off, and the look. I don't care what anybody says about MJF. MJF, as a chicken shit heel, the look on his face like he's seen a ghost, and he got the fuck out the ring.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you actually look at how good MJF is, because he is also a really good wrestler. you know, like I guess he really is like this day and age's Flair, because Flair would go 60 minutes, but he was the chicken shit heel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you look at even what AEW has done with MJF, how many 60-minute matches has he had?
Done a bunch of 60 minutes.
So he hasn't
Broadway matches.
He hasn't done them 7 days a week, 300 days a year like Flair used to, and then go drink 25 beers and yeah, well, yeah, 137 beers. But yeah, Adam Cole coming back here. I thought it was interesting to see the Instagram post from one Britt Baker actually posting the introduction of Adam Cole on her social media, considering there's rumor that they broke up.
Oh.
And I don't think they broke up. Like the weird thing about the whole rumor was that they said that Adam Cole was moving back to Pittsburgh. Well, where's Britt Baker from?
Pittsburgh. So
like why did the internet suddenly think that they weren't together? I don't.
Yeah.
So
International Championship, Osprey, Ricochet, and take a shitter.
Well, Take a Shitta won this match, and I did read that ahead of time. It will get so when they actually do the point scale, it will it'll get the Osprey 2-point kicker.
Do you know how he won?
How he won? Yes, I do. Kyle Fletcher ended up in a hoodie, which apparently is the new gear that you wear when you want to beat someone up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Drew McIntyre, Jimmy Uso, now Kyle Fletcher, all hoodies. You know, like can't someone just come down in a sleeveless T-shirt and beat someone down? But yeah, so now the Don Callis family has completely ostracized Will Ospreay.
Yeah. So next we have Swerve. Swerve came out in the kind of program or promo. Sorry. MVP and Shelton Benjamin came out as well. MVP made some vague offer to join him. Swerve's pretty much like, nah, I'm sticking with Nana. What's his name? Tried to big brother him, tried to mean mug him. Shelton Benjamin tried to get in his face.
Well, yeah, because we know he doesn't talk on the mic.
Mm-hmm. Didn't work. So we didn't get it. We didn't get Bobby Lashley. I think everybody was expecting Lashley to come out.
But you see how that seems like it's just an extension of the program on like a Dynamite. I get why you bring Swerve back in his hometown at the pay-per-view, but I also don't get why you have it get interrupted.
Set up him and Bobby,
yeah. I mean, like, if you're gonna set up him and Bobby, set up him and Bobby.
Yeah.
Like, do it. You know.
Hologram and Beast Mortis.
Who cares?
Well, you know Hologram won.
I mean, Hologram won, but Hologram has the absolute ugliest fucking luchador mask I have ever seen. It's literally an H, but it's like it makes like a mustache for the. It's literally the worst. And this is like a Tony Khan project.
Oh shit!
Of like creating this guy. Yeah, you don't have to blow it up anymore.
I'm trying to
tilt it. Other way. No.
Here, you do it. I'm trying to get the.
No, it's not gonna work.
Nah, but yeah. Hologram.
That's as close as we can get to it.
But
that's better than it actually normally looks.
So Hologram Mortis. Then we had Darby King did the open challenge, and Darby Allin did open challenge. I'm sorry,
Brody King
came out and answered it, and Allin beat Brody King.
Did you see when Brody King put the ring steps on him and just started jumping on him? Oh my God, that was
what?
Yes. So
in this match,
yes. So Darby Allin was stuck underneath the ring steps, and Brody King, with his 285-pound frame, climbed all the way on top of like the top one and just started banging his foot down on him. And you know, those things are like cuttable steel on the bottom. So I'm like,
he's gonna kill it.
I'm like, he's trying to kill Darby.
My God.
But we already know that Darby's trying to die in the ring. Like,
did they finally kill Darby?
No, Chris Barrett, unfortunately not. Darby got the win.
Then we had the Young Bucks.
Oh, they wrestled?
Yeah, remember the Private Party?
So the Young Bucks won.
Yeah,
yeah.
For the title, of course they
Yeah.
I forgot about this one. Mark Briscoe and Jericho. Jericho's trying to be not the Ocho, but the New Wave. Is going for the ROH championship. What I found interesting in this is they do a little bit of realism into it.
Oh yeah, bringing up his brother.
What do you think of that?
I thought it was unnecessary. I think that Mark obviously approved it. Because I don't think that you bring up someone who died.
Not even a year ago. Has it been a year?
No, it's been over a year now. But just barely. But
what? I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it was very tasteful.
But Briscoe won the match.
Yeah, he won the match, but that was like,
I mean,
that made me cringe.
It obviously was to get Jericho some heat. Although right now Jericho gets all the heat. Actually, Jericho doesn't get any heat.
Hi guys.
There's like no reaction to Jericho right now. And he's starting to get mad about it. I don't know if you've noticed. He's starting to get mad that people are like, retire. Like people are legitimately like saying it now, whereas at the beginning it was please retire, now it's just like fucking retire. You know, like and Jericho's still probably one of their best 10 people on the roster. Like, and obviously the second biggest name on their entire roster behind Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and speaking of, here you go. You made me run about Superman and Lois. I didn't
really go on a rant about this, except I think that it's fucking stupid.
No. Yeah, go ahead. Your thoughts, because you said, and I quote, if Moxley wins this match, I'm not watching AEW anymore.
I said I might not. I didn't say I wasn't. But I did say I might not. And here's why. So, okay, number one, Bryan Danielson getting the title, putting on these epic matches, and then literally getting the shit beat out of him by Jon Moxley.
Well, they got to set it up because he needs surgery. He even said, hey, I got to get surgery sooner than later.
Every wrestler says that, though. We don't know how deep into that he really is.
Daniel's still taking fucking diving head bumps after he had concussions and he's not supposed to have shit anymore. I'm sure he is fucked up and needs some kind of surgery.
Well, so this is what I've heard through the grapevine is that Danielson asked specifically to lose to Moxley because he wanted to push this storyline that Moxley's got going on further down the road. So they wanted to give Moxley the title so that and from the looks of it,
so you know Christian's not going to win now.
Sure. Well, he might not even spend his title opportunity yet. Okay. You know, but the idea here that like this wasn't even like a fair fight kind of thing. This was Moxley choked him out. Mm-hmm. He had to be taken to the hospital. He, you know, in his home state, right? And they did it. They did it because up until this point, and by the way, this is after he had already also put a bag over the man's head and choked him that way. They're trying to make sure that you don't like Jon Moxley. They want you to hate him. It's
not gonna work.
It's just even though they don't want you to like him, and the way that it got said on the radio was that Moxley would have fought everybody in that arena to walk out. and he was perfectly willing to do that is kind of how they implied it online. The question that comes up from this, and as you can tell, I'm not really ranting about it. I don't like that he's a 4-time AEW champion when there are other people that could have won the belt that Danielson could have done the favors to and actually elevated them. Moxley didn't need to be elevated, right? So could you have elevated Darby Allin? Yes. Could you have elevated Daniel Garcia? Yes. Could you have elevated Will Ospreay, Okada? Could you have elevated any of these guys and given them the AEW world titles so that way they actually get the rub and the bump up in the actual eyes of the fans? Instead, we got the same old tried and true story that Tony Khan has done since the very beginning of AEW, which is Jon Moxley goes over their biggest people. And I don't know why, because I don't know what the hard-on is for Jon Moxley. He's not a great wrestler. So having him as your wrestling champion in the place where the best wrestling is, as Daniel Garcia stated.
They're trying to push him as the modern day Stone Cold. I see what they're trying to do.
It's not even Stone Cold though, because he's a heel. It's like he's the Triple H. Because Triple H was always that guy that would figure out the devious way of beating somebody and choking somebody out to where like they're being taken out on a stretcher because he used the sledgehammer or whatever, you know? So he literally is basically being Triple H, which I guess if you're actually going to play up a Shane McMahon card with this whole thing, having someone that acts like his brother-in-law probably is.
So who do we, because I thought last week when they did the tag team match with Danielson.
And Yuta.
I thought Yuta was going to turn on them because remember, but before that, Claudio was like, "Hey, I've never steered you wrong. Have I ever lied to you? Have I steered you wrong?" And made him kind of. I thought he was going to come around, and I thought he was going to turn on Daniel in that match, and he didn't. So what's up, Helios? So where does it go with him now too?
Well, I would think
they're the trio champion.
I would think that Yuta is going to come out, get in Moxley's face, and be kicked out of the Blackpool Combat Club. And I could totally see until they lose those trios champion. It's the Ring of Honor ones, right? It's not the AEW ones.
It's the AEW.
Is it the AEW one? So I would think that right now, for the time being, that Claudio and Pac will actually just be two people fighting that. Although I think there's another member coming. You know, if you're kicking Yuta out, you can't just have the three guys and the girl. Like it feels, unfortunately, it feels like too small of a stable in AEW.
Yeah.
So
who did they get to replace Yuta?
Well, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if it's like Hangman. You know, because right now, the way that Hangman's been acting, I could see that being the case. I started thinking, though, wouldn't it be interesting if MVP was actually the bankroll on the Jon Moxley side if they're not going to bring Shane McMahon in? So he's playing Swerve to one end, but then all of a sudden, what if all of a sudden he ends up in charge of like Moxley and the group? So Swerve sits there and comes out Wednesday night, says that he's gonna be the guy to help Moxley or to take down Moxley, and then you see MVP and Shelton come down to sit there and make it look like they're gonna help Swerve against the Blackpool Combat Club, and then they all take out Swerve.
In that case, I could see Adam Page going and joining the Combat Club because they'll help him get the Swerve.
There you go. See, because right now, whatever it is, I think Moxley's group is going to get bigger because it's going to be you're either joining us or you're against us, and it's going to feel like NWO. Because right now, a lot of these stories feel too much like 1998 WCW, unfortunately to me. So Danielson ends his full-time wrestling career.
So what does that mean?
He gets his surgery. He leaves for a while, comes back next year. You know,
so does he come back to AEW or does he finish his?
Oh no. He'll sign another deal with AEW. I'm pretty sure. Like I mean, he was working without a contract for the last 3 months. You know, so he obviously likes what he's doing there. And if he gets to come back and actually like be one of the people that helps take down this John Moxley group, he's going to want to do that to finish the story with that, right? Do I think that he's going to end his overall career as a Hall of Famer in the WWE? Yeah, but for all intents and purposes, like Tony Khan was letting him play the Final Countdown, which costs like $100,000 every time they play it. So like Tony was like, oh, I got that big money now. Just
he's Eric Bischoff.
Let's talk about that a little bit too. For months, we had been hearing that AEW was talking to Fox, and what happened, Tino?
They got a deal.
They did, but what was it for?
Out of the country. That's what it is.
It's Fox Mexico. So everybody that was like, oh, well, AEW is going to go on Fox on Friday nights. One, we already know Friday night is now covered by football, but there was no way. And by the way, if anybody thought that Fox in the US was going to pick up AEW after we have had to listen to them turning off the screen and turning off the sound for the last 2 months every time Solo Sikoa comes out, do you really think they would have been a good fit for AEW?
Saying, holy shit, and AEW fucking fuck and shit. And
yeah. And even TBS and TNT have been kind of cutting those out recently. So like everywhere that they were doing it, they're not doing it anymore. So, but like if a sign in the audience upset Fox, they turned the screen off.
It's ridiculous.
Exactly. So
all right. Anything happened to Raw? Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit already. We got further down the line with the Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston thing. We got
Raquel. They drove up, and then they just got in the car and like, you know what? Fuck you. And they got back in the car and drove away. And they the back chick's like, they're leaving. They're leaving. That's just tattletailing. I'm like, really good. We had the Monster that wasn't that match.
No, that was the week before.
Yeah, they're running all together.
They are. We had Jey Uso get beat up by Braun Breaker. We started talking about that earlier. We had Kofi and Xavier get beat up by Braun Breaker. We had
the Miz. The Miz turned on R-Truth.
No, that was the week before too.
Yeah, damn.
See, he was so riled up about damn Superman.
I am.
Can't remember what happened on Raw. I got to be honest, I don't really remember. It was a blur.
Yeah.
I think we were all, because it was coming out of the PLE. I think all of us were probably waiting on SmackDown. So we can jump into SmackDown because we had two major moments.
Did Punk leave? Was that last week?
That was last week. Punk came out at the beginning of the show. Punk sat there and said he's going to go home. He's going to lick his wounds. He doesn't know when he'll be back. Blah blah blah. A lot of that has to do apparently with Crown Jewel, because CM Punk has been very vocal about not wanting to wrestle for blood money. Funny that he bled like a stuffed pig the other night. So did Drew McIntyre, but he doesn't want to wrestle for blood money. So he's basically being written off of WWE programming for the time being, and I would not be surprised if we don't see him again until Royal Rumble time. Okay. SmackDown.
Okay.
SmackDown started with Jimmy Uso coming out, and then Roman came out, and Roman did something completely out of the OTC character. Yeah.
He even said it. Acknowledge him. He said, it's the only time I'm gonna do this. We're not doing this often. Acknowledge him.
Yeah, so Jimmy,
and then Jimmy went like that to give the mic back and
slapped his hand. Gave him a low five. and if you notice, Jimmy just played it off like
he started laughing. He knew. He knew better.
Um,
Pretty much, Jimmy's like, look, we're outnumbered. We need help. I'm the only one acknowledging you. He said, there's one person that I know that they'll come help us. And everybody started, and he looked at Jimmy. No yeet.
No yeet.
And everybody started booing.
Everybody booed for a second. He just looked around and he's like,
So now, and I wanted to ask you, you go back to Raw where Jay got the shit speared out of him. Does he lose that title back to Braun and come to SmackDown to help?
I don't know. I think you're gonna get your rematch between Jay and Braun Breaker there. It's very possible that, Roman actually helps
But here's
Jay
my
maintain
thing.
the title.
But he'll have the title because they're trying not to have everybody like go back and forth. So Jay's going to have to go to SmackDown, I'm thinking. And if he goes to SmackDown, he can't have that title there because the U.S. strap is there. You know what I mean? So he's going to be holding up a strap, helping out the bloodline.
I tend to one, even though for the first 6 months after the draft they really did keep them apart. If you noticed, Cody showed up on Raw this week.
Yeah.
Judgment Day showed up on SmackDown. So like they're starting to play up some of the stuff, and mainly because I expect
It's the crown jewel thing. That's what that is.
Well, and Survivor Series,
Hmm.
because I could see the women's War Games match being 5-5 between the two.
Okay.
And last week I sat here to the group and I told them all that I could totally see with the crown jewel thing, because obviously you got Nia versus Liv Morgan going to happen at it. I could totally see Nia winning that match, but losing her title, so she comes out as the crown jewel champ.
Yeah, but that championship only stays at crown jewel. So when it's not going to be,
I think she could still sit there and wear it and bring it down every week after she loses her belt to Tiffy. See, heck, there's another Samoan that sits there and just wears a fake belt all the time.
that's not fake belt. The Ali gave that to him because Ali's wife. Because that's the People's Champ belt because he had to ask permission to use the People's Champ.
Right. And then they just made him a belt.
Yeah. So no, it's not the same. He's the People's Champ, and that's the People's belt.
Wait, he's not the People's Champ now. Now he's the final boss.
Oh, his money. He can be everything. He makes rules.
Yeah, like all those,
Yeah.
and that's when I said,
Yep.
That's when I said Nia's gonna do a.
That's what I meant when I said that.
I know.
So.
Oh, those memes are awesome. You heard Punk will be back around Survivor Series. That's an interesting take on that. And Barrett, I could see that being the case. In fact, we were talking about this a little bit last week that CM Punk has almost been back with WWE for a full year at this point, which is crazy to even think about. But rumor is that he might have only signed a 1-year deal with the WWE. Obviously, the relationship has worked out well, so I could see them extending the agreement, which, there was talk around SummerSlam time where he was apparently trying to rework his deal already. So I think that that's the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did sign a 1-year deal and now they've got to figure out the money for, the next amount of time. So Crown Jewel is basically the new Night of Champions.
No,
I think it's so they're only doing it with the main championships. They're putting their World Heavyweight Champion and the WWE Champion against each other, and they're on both the men's and the women's. I think that they're doing it because Triple H probably did like the idea that Vince McMahon had of champion versus champion at Survivor Series, but didn't want to waste Survivor Series on that, right? And obviously he really likes War Games at Survivor Series. I don't even know how I feel about War Games at Survivor Series at this point. I would rather them go back to classic Survivor Series matches with the elimination style.
it's a reverse elimination with Or because you can't technically start the match
until they're all in the
Yeah.
ring. Yeah.
So it's technically just
Well, and then it doesn't end until someone quits.
or it gets pin and submission. Once everybody's in, that's when you start doing pin and submission.
No, I don't think it's pin or submission. I think it's someone has to actually like.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Mm-mm.
Are you
Just
sure?
pin.
Huh.
The AEW quit because the
Oh,
Young
right,
Bucks
right. Yeah,
did that. Yeah, not
blood and guts. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't War Games.
I could have sworn it was the same rules.
Mm-mm.
Huh. Anyways, I mean, last year it was Sammy's or no, last year it was the five. It was when CM Punk showed up and Seth Rollins had to join Cody Rhodes. They didn't like that,
Yeah.
and then they didn't like Punk showing up.
What else did we say? Oh, so I guess right before the women's tag team match, that's when Owens came to the ring. They cut his mic off. He went and yanked Corey Graves' mic off his headset. He's going off. Cody Rhodes comes down. He goes, "Oh yeah!" So he gets in the ring. They're trying to break it up. Randy Orton comes out to be the voice of reason. He comes up behind, trying to calm.
And KO hits him in the.
And so I don't know if they're going to try to play it like KO didn't know who it was because he kind of looked back when he threw the elbow.
No, he knew who it was.
Yeah. And so Randy turned him around and fucking knocked the shit out of him.
And then you just see Kevin Owens' face like.
And he's holding his. And then he fired Kevin Owens.
Well, I mean, like they were basically saying you're suspended, you can't come out, and then of course he showed up and he like I love how the two NXT girls are like, what is he doing in our ring?
Whatever, bitches.
Ms. Jackson and Lash Legend.
Yeah, they got the ass handed to him.
Yes, they did.
But
But the whole Kevin Owens thing, like I love the fact that it got millions of views by looking like it was real. And now he's beating up Randy Orton, which I wonder if this is going to end up turning into a triple threat.
see, I thought Orton and Randy were going to turn heels together. So this is interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah, because right now it's. I mean, we're probably going to get Orton versus KO. Just probably at Crown Jewel or something. Maybe not because Owens doesn't typically show up for Crown Jewel either.
I guess now that Sammy goes.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Didn't he go last year? Because Sammy went. He went.
Well, I know Sammy went last year because Sammy wore the all white outfit.
I thought KO was there too.
Yeah, I don't know about like right now. If I like Kevin Owens in just a week doing this turn, I think he's ready to take the belt from Cody. I don't think he will. I think he's ready to.
Okay.
Like because suddenly there's a fire in him, and I know that Triple H wants him to re-sign because apparently his contract's up in January. Because remember, he signed that deal for like $3 million a year or whatever, like right before he got to face Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be year 3. So that's just about ending that deal. And I still remember when he signed that deal. We were sitting here doing our show, and I think Chris Barrett was sitting there saying it was a dumb idea for him to take that deal. And Chris Barrett, I could be wrong that if it was you or not, but he was dumb to take that deal because they'll just let him go 90 days from now, so he won't make that money.
Right.
And yet he made all that money. I think they should fire KO and send him to that. Send him over to AEW. Well, if he doesn't sign a new deal, that's where he's going. But obviously, like unfortunately, it's like in case of emergency, break glass, like Kevin Owens be the heel to go against the person at Royal Rumble, because that seems to be what he gets to do.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like AJ Styles, up until recently with his injury, he would always be the first guy that whoever had the title after WrestleMania would get to face. So, saw that Shinsuke Nakamura has a new match coming up.
Really?
For Noah.
Oh.
So he hasn't wrestled since April 22nd. and yet he's gonna be doing another match for Noah. Yeah, so interesting. They have Braun Breaker now. That's so. Tino, what do you think of this statement?
No, because KO is still good too. It's like
KO deserves another run with the belt.
One more run with the belt, but he's also good to help elevate some of these younger talents too.
I mean, he elevates the talent without even losing the matches to them. So like an Austin Theory, I mean, I sent everybody the video today of how well he takes a stunner. Did I not send that? It's on your Instagram.
Oh.
Yeah. Austin Theory's been taking stunners like Scott Hall for the past 5 years. Like, and it's been against just random people too. Like he took one from Athena.
Oh shit.
And because she does that one off the top rope and hits and like, yeah, he does like the flip backwards. Sometimes he's on his head and he just like flips backwards. Sometimes he just falls backwards.
Wow.
But he's always overselling like Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my favorite matches, anytime I just get to see like snippets of it, is the Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan match.
He always sold that on purpose because he was pissed.
Well, but if you actually look at Shawn Michaels' career, he was an overseller for everybody. It's just that one.
Did I send you that, or it was a clip of him off his overselling, or did you send me that?
I think I sent you. I don't know. One of us sent it to the other though. Yes, you do have to oversell the stunner. Scott Hall is probably in the top 5 for me in selling the stunner.
The Rock.
But The Rock, because him and Steve Austin used to have a deal. Whoever got the bigger pop selling the other person's finisher bought the beer, and so The Rock would do that push off handstand flip over, and it was always great. But I mean, well, he did it to the point of being hokey, and because he was frustrating Hogan with it. Like Hogan was getting angry at his overselling, and I still love that about that match because like Hogan would sit there and grab the ropes and go like this, and you'd see Michaels just like bouncing up, and he'd be like, "Come on, man, just knock that off." Shit was awesome.
It's funny as hell.
So, couple other things real quick. Rumor is that even though we got The Rock's return last week, rumor is that there's rumor out there that says he's not going to do WrestleMania. But then today he actually posted a comment on like after one of his posts, someone sits there and says, "Is it true that you're not going to be at WrestleMania?" And he said, "Don't believe all the bullshit." Yeah. And he wrote it just like that. Don't believe all the bullshit. And then he put the fist out there. So I would anticipate that The Rock is. I mean, Triple H handled this question very well at the press conference because it was, "And what do you think about The Rock coming back?" And he's like, "The Rock can come back whenever The Rock wants to come back. Now that he's on the board, he calls the shots. He wants that last moment of the show. He gets that last moment of the show. Like that's the only time Triple H really doesn't get to be creative. You know, like, do you think that if The Rock wasn't coming back in that match, that the Bloodline and Cody would have?
We already said that.
They would have went on first.
Yeah.
You know, Roman would have been like, "Great, I get to leave and get a steak."
Mm-hmm.
You know, like especially since it started at 6:00 that night. Hogan getting mad at someone being hokey.
He stole his home from Curly.
That's actually funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have any other banners that we need to talk about?
Just the Machine Guns. I think they're coming this week.
So with Nick Aldis actually sitting there saying that who was it? Was it Theory and Waller?
No. It was Phantasma.
Oh, Legado del Fantasma, yeah, and Aldis basically said, and I think you're going to be surprised at who it is. And yes, wouldn't it be really interesting if it's Ray Phoenix and Penta though?
Yeah, but you're right though. They were showing like how they
MCMG,
and they were showing the clips of the commercial break and of a city skyline and all that. I'm like, yeah, I think that's them.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be really funny if it ended up being like?
Well, I thought you said they couldn't.
Right, but weirder things have been known to happen. You know, I mean, Alberto Del Rio showing up when nobody thought he was ever going to show up again was weird. But no, I do think it is the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm surprised they didn't just go like, have something go like this on the screen. Everybody from Michigan, where are you from? Oh, I'm from here or here. It's like,
I'm from here.
You could just say Detroit.
I'm from here.
Could just say Detroit. You don't have to go, I'm here. Anyways, to all our Michigan fans, thank you. We do love you anyway. But yeah, I don't.
I guess it is.
I'm pretty good. We can go watch Superman.
No.
It was only 1 hour tonight.
No.
So, Tino, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what your deal is?
I'm gonna have to think for a minute. I am on I don't know if I want to call it. I'm gonna call it Twitter because that's what it is to me. I'm on Twitter, HoolieFan91. I am on we're the Potsy and Tino on the Twitter, Potsy and Tino Show on Facebook. We're here each and every week right here on the Potsy Pan Network. I am also on Snapchat, SC Tino, Instagram, SC Tino, the TikTok Tino or Great Music. You can catch us, like I said, here each and every week, right here on the Pots and Pan Network. I want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for the wrestling songs. You can buy it on iTunes for the low price of 99 cents, 99 Jones. No, he's not.
Good for Tino Jones to watch that Superman 99.
Shut up, Jones.
Just got me laughing. You can catch me on Twitter at Potcheck, on Instagram at Rob Potcheck, on everything else. Well, actually, YouTube is Rob Potcheck as well. And then everything else is Rob Potsy Potcheck. So Twitch, Snapchat, TikTok, and even an extra Instagram account. Folks, thank you so much for watching with us tonight. We are getting out of here kind of early.
I like it. I got to be up at 5:30, so that's a good thing. We know you do this more often. This I want an hour and a half out. No, man. He just hadn't had much to say tonight, so that's why we get to get out of here.
I mean, pretty much. So with that, we're gonna let the Motor City Machine Guns take us out of here.
Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh,
ready? Motor City Machine Guns and Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino Show.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.